A little bit more on this with Acting Deputy Homeland Security Secretary, formerly served as Acting Director of the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, Ken Cuccinelli. Good to see you, sir. You guys take Greyhound at their word here that they're just being magnanimous about this, or is this them caving to pressure?
Well, I don't know what brought it on. I mean, you referenced the long statutory jurisdiction of the Border Patrol to deal with the border. They don't just stand at the border on the international line to enforce the security of this country. They have to have the ability to do that in some depth. And it's a sad day to see something like this, and hopefully #BoycottGreyhound will pick up, and we'll see how it plays out. But we'll have some discussions with them. This was not something they talked to us about before they made their public comments. So for us, it's ultimately about how we can all work together and the effectiveness of our law enforcement efforts. So it isn't always about the rhetoric.
Noteworthy that they didn't talk to you guys first. If you broaden this out, is this sort of an isolated incident? Are you seeing other businesses becoming more actively hostile towards ICE and towards enforcement efforts that you all have going on?
This is more the political activist community. The sanctuary cities effort is really more where it has been typically focused. And you reported on some interaction with the San Diego Sheriff's Office, some of the lawsuits that ICE has brought to gather the information they need to do their law enforcement duties, imposed by Congress, by the way. And, we hear a lot of congressmen who say they don't like them, but they don't do anything to change them. They also don't do much all the time to help us actually enforce that law. But ICE has done a good job of plowing ahead. We have a lot of local and state partners across the country. And it's just very sad to see this politicization of law enforcement. The president commented on it in the State of the Union, said he's not going to stand for it as the president and the person ultimately responsible for enforcing federal law. And we're implementing that vision of President Trump's, with all of the folks who are cooperating with us. And where they won't, we go do our job anyway.
Garrett Tenney reported that you all are now seeing first signs of success on targeting sanctuary jurisdictions. It was last weekend, sir, that we were talking about the Border Patrol sending in some of their special operations teams into cities like Chicago, like Boston, like Los Angeles, to help round up dangerous illegal immigrants and fugitives from the law. Have you started to see some real success with that? Any numbers you can share with us?
I don't have numbers to share with you at this point. We don't typically share operational information until any particular operation is over. And but I will say, while the Customs Border Protection officers got a lot of press for joining ICE in their efforts, the reality is that other federal law enforcement agencies partner with ICE as well, and they don't necessarily make the New York Times. And those are just healthy relationships in the law enforcement community that ICE has been participating in for a long, long time. And there are very good reasons for it. In addition to removing people who are here illegally, and the priority, as you noted, are criminals who are here illegally, meaning they've committed other crimes. But that isn't all. Anybody who is not here legally is and has a removal order, has been through the due process that they get, which is very generous in this country, is also subject to removal. And those are done with local partners, state partners, and federal law enforcement partners. And that'll continue. And like I said, where we don't have those partnerships or where they're standing in the way, ICE will double down and bring more officers in to do their job, because they're committed as professionals to doing their job as best they can.
And one might think also sort of news about the stepped up enforcement might have people leaving on their own. Talking about the travel ban that now is sort of expanding, if you will. Reasonable people can agree the first couple of weeks of the travel ban during the beginning of the administration had, shall we say, some problems. Now adding a few new countries to this: Kazakhstan, Burma, Sudan, Nigeria, Eritrea, and Tanzania. Take us through sort of the general thought process behind those countries, and do you feel as though you all are on stable enough legal ground here that we're not going to have the same kind of problems that we had in rollout of Travel Ban 1.0?
Well, first of all, remember how that all ended up. It ended up with Hawaii v. Trump, in which the Chief Justice writing the opinion for the Supreme Court said the president could hardly be on stronger legal footing. He has natural Article II authority, and Congress has passed this law, this 212F law, that he is using. So we're on very strong ground, and in fact, all of these are very targeted additions to what you've called the travel ban. I'll use Nigeria as an example. The president of Nigeria immediately established a blue ribbon commission. He didn't call it that, but same idea, to fix the problems that led to the security concerns that got them on that list in the first place. And he's very committed to getting off the list. And that's exactly what we want. We want that kind of cooperative security relationship with these other countries.
All right. We appreciate your time, sir. Thank you very much, especially on a Saturday. We'll let you get back to the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains behind you and enjoy the rest of your weekend, sir.
We love it here in Virginia.
All right. All the best.